Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Barbara Burke, and I want to introduce you to my friend John Donaldson and Jim Gonsolin. We're here to share with you some amazing and important information that we learned from Dr. Tamara Sachs's presentation last Thursday night. It was really eye-opening for all of us. And Jim, I know you want to say a few things about Dr. Sachs, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Bob, I like your idea about sharing what you and John got from the presentation. I've heard Dr. Sachs and seen her several times before. Just to give each of you listening in a little background about her, she is a functional medicine physician. You might be wondering, what is that? Functional medicine is really getting to the source of what someone's challenge might be, someone's health challenge. And you're going to hear from John and Barbara in a few minutes about what really stood out for them. But point is, she's very well qualified as a traditionally trained medicine and now as a functional medicine physician to really identify what may be going on with somebody in regard to their health and really bringing it back to the source of what it is. And when you hear John and Barbara share what she revealed to them, we've all been studying nutrition for a long time, and yet we always learn something new. John, I know you were there too with Barbara. Welcome to Carlton. I don't know, you probably had a long day today, right?
Oh, yes. Happy to be here.
Tell us what stood out for you from what Dr. Sachs shared last Thursday.
A lot of things. What I realized is that unless you're living on a mountain and you're by yourself and you're growing your own foods and you're drinking your own water, that's virtually impossible to avoid poisons in today's society.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I came across.
She talks a lot about cleansing. I understand some things stood out for you in regard to cleansing of toxins in your body. Talk about that for a minute.
Well, she definitely mentioned water. Even our waters in our systems, they can't be trusted, and unless you're using a filter, that even the water can be very dangerous. High levels of mercury, and there's just a lot of metals in our waters now that you just can't take for granted.
So moving forward, I know you've been a personal trainer for how many years now?
7 years now.
7 years. You've probably seen a lot of health challenges, and yet I would imagine most of what you see is on the physical and exercise side. So how do you see what you heard from Dr. Sachs and what you've learned about nutrition? How do you see that being useful for you moving forward with your clients? Well,
it's extremely useful in regards to our not only the outside in our muscles, but also our organs. So, eating, clean foods, and definitely Juice Plus, since it doesn't have pesticides. They come from small farms. In this case, it's actually more healthy than some of the organic foods that we buy in our supermarket. So in that case, that's definitely a recommendation that we get more involved with Juice Plus.
Yeah, John, I know you've probably been as a personal trainer now for 7 years plus. You've probably been approached by a lot of people about different supplements, and the fact what you just said, I think is important for everyone to realize. Juice Plus is NSF certified.
Yeah.
As Dr. Sachs says, it's beyond organic, right? If everybody wants organic, which is very good, that's a good standard, but that is more of a paper trail than it is necessarily, as John just mentioned, pesticide free. And that NSF certification, we check our product 3 times for any kind of pesticides or herbicides. And I think I know what you mentioned, John, is very important. There's some great videos on our website about farm to capsule. We actually show where the produce is grown, and all of our produce is grown on small family type farms. So we know what's in it. We know how it's grown. We know how it's processed. And what you mentioned, John, about food quality is a major, major issue today.
Yes.
Seems like every week something is challenged.
It is.
What do? We even have something called a tower garden. If you don't know about that, folks, check it out. It's where you can grow your own produce with no dirt. And it's that term beyond organic is going to get very important. So, John, thanks for that. I know this is going to help you going back to work with your clients.
Barbara, most definitely.
Wonderful. That's good to hear. And yourself. We all have to apply this to ourselves in our own lives,
Yeah, it's definitely eye-opening for sure.
We all have maybe a few more toxins in our body than we realize. So it's good to know we can get rid of that with good plant-based nutrition like Juice Plus. Barb, I know you've seen Dr. Sachs speak before. Tell us what really stood out for you. What got your attention?
She is just one of the most impressive women or people I have ever seen speak and meet personally. I have met her before. And this particular talk was one I had never heard. It was about toxicity and how to detox. And the things that really, as you want to say, shocked me was the first statistic she gave. She talked first about how we can't get away from the toxins in our soil and the air and the water. And it's very important to do everything we can to get that out of our system. But she said that they recently did a study on the blood of newborn babies, and they found over 230 chemicals in their umbilical cords. Now, these are babies who the mothers had to give them that, and that's horrible to have a baby born with all those chemicals. Some of the chemicals were arsenic, lead, mercury, pesticides, detergents, Teflon, and that BPA plastic that's supposed to be so bad for you, already in that baby's blood. Wow. That was unbelievably shocking to me, because these poor kids, before a baby was born and maybe 50 years ago, and they didn't have any of that in their blood. And it's like, well, what do we do about it? Well, we have to learn how to detox. And she went through a lot of stuff about how the toxins are stored in your fat and how the body has to, some of it was a little technical, but it was, to me, I thought very interesting. And then the other thing that was a side comment, but a very observational one. I won't say it was a comment. I guess it was actually a study. They've noticed that there's been a reduction in lung cancer in men over the last few years.
Really? That's good news.
And what they found is that the men have given up smoking more than women, and that lung cancer is rising in women because they're not giving it up. They're not getting that toxin out of their system. So it's an anecdotal thing, but the fact of the matter is, you don't put that nasty toxin in your body, then if you're a smoker, you stop doing it, the incidence of lung cancer is going down.
Right.
And that was just amazing to me. And then the third thing that, we talked a little bit about, and I'm going to go back to my notes to said, she talks about how important it is to get the nutrition, and that obviously Juice Plus is probably the best in the world on that. She talked about the research on Juice Plus.
Yeah.
And I had recently listened to a blog about how research was conducted from the pharmaceutical companies. And what she reinforced for me was that when a pharmaceutical company does a research study, they can not publish it if they don't like the results. They have what they call, they put a gag on it, and nobody ever learns about the bad results. With Juice Plus, we don't do that. All of our 38 studies that have been published and peer-reviewed, we have no control over the outcome, and if the outcome isn't good or we're not happy with it, it still gets published. Fortunately for us, our outcomes have been outstanding. But the point is that we would never not publish a study just because we don't like the results.
Right.
And I thought that was a real testament to the integrity of our company.
Yep.
And the commitment to producing something that we know can have confidence in knowing we are putting the finest, purest fruits and vegetables and all those antioxidants to help detox in our body every day. And those were the things that, I could go on, but we don't want to be here forever.
Well, it's obvious from both of you that, I can even see by your expression. That's why Zoom is so good. We can see people's faces. With your background, Barb, I know you've been on Juice Plus, 20 years?
19 years.
19 years. John, you've been on it a couple of years, been a trainer for a long time.
Yeah.
And, what's great about our community, if you want to call it a community or a culture, is we have people like Dr. Sachs, who's an expert. She sharpens her skills every day. we don't have to necessarily know all that she knows, but we have that as a resource. We can go and listen to her. She came down to Florida. She probably hadn't been there in years, but we all have access. And with technology today like this, there's so many opportunities to learn the things that John and Barbara have shared with all of you. So my suggestion to you is that you take advantage of the community here. We've got tremendous resources on our website. You can get with whoever got you on this Zoom to go to the website, check it out. There's some great videos. Dr. Sachs, if you want to look her up on YouTube, she's got some tremendous video support for those things like John and Barbara shared today. The basic bottom line is this: we are what we eat. You know, and we want to understand that. And what John talked about, and Barbara really validated, is we need to be paying attention to the food that we eat. That's what our body's regenerated from. Barbara mentioned about the studies. You know, our bodies are completely recreated every 7 to 10 years from what we eat, what we drink, and our lifestyle. When you think about that, that's profound. So I appreciate both of you sharing your thoughts. Barbara had a great idea to get this together and share these so that she and John can share this with other people to kind of get the highlights of what Dr. Sachs covered. And Dr. Sachs, maybe you might listen to this and see this. We just really appreciate you coming to Florida.
She has plenty of time.
Anyway, you might want to send it to her, huh?
I will if I can find out. I think I have her email address.
Yeah.
If I can
Folks,
email it to the link.
If you want to learn more about Juice Plus, get back with John and Barbara. They can share some great information. It's not about convincing you to do anything. It's about educating you about what your options are. We have some tremendous options. Barbara mentioned there's 38 studies on Juice Plus. All that research is original research done by third parties, published in independent medical journals that prove that Juice Plus works. Don't believe me. Don't believe Barbara or John. Check out the research. So thank you both for being with us today.
And thank you, Jim, for
Thanks, Jim.
facilitating this Zoom. And
Right.
everybody that's on, thank you for joining us. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts on the information that we shared tonight.
Great.
All right.
Stop video.
Recording.
Pause, stop recording.